Hello, and welcome to today's book chat. It's been an unpardonably long time since I last posted, but I have been reading, so you can expect to hear from me a little bit more regularly for the next little while. So, the book I want to talk to you about today is The Nightingale by Kristin Hanna. And I saw this book advertised probably more than a year ago. It looked really interesting, but I just never got around to picking it up. And then finally, this past long weekend, my husband was going to be out of town, and so I decided, you know what, I'm not going to watch any TV, and that extra time, I'm just going to pick up a book that I think is going to be really good and read. And so that's what I did. And as you can see, this is a pretty long book. It's almost 600 pages, and I read that all in the weekend. This book was definitely not a disappointment. If you don't know anything about it, it's set in World War II occupied France. And rather than looking at your typical stories of war that center so much around men and what the experience was for them and what they went through and suffered and their heroisms, this book looks at the story of two women, two sisters, Vianne and Isabel. And it's just brilliantly done. It's poignant, it's incredibly moving, it's well researched, and the story feels so real of what I imagine life would have been like for women who were going through this experience at this time in history. The intricate relationships of these women are just living on the page. The way that they interact with their children, their society, themselves, and each other. The book looks at the choices that need to be made and the fact that when life is difficult, when so many of your freedoms are stripped away, often there's really no simple or right choice. There's only the best thing that you can do in the moment that hopefully allows you to keep some semblance of yourself and of your beliefs. Um, yeah, it's hard to talk about this book without giving too much away. If you are interested at all in history, if you're interested in the experiences of women, if you're interested in just a good story that's written well and goes at a good pace and looks at the hard things in life, that doesn't shy away from it, that doesn't show characters who are perfect all the time or who always make choices that you think would be the right ones, but who stand firm in their beliefs and are idealistic when it matters and practical when they need to be, this book is one that I think you would definitely enjoy. Um, yeah, okay, I won't give more than that. I think I've said enough. Uh, it's beautiful, it's intricate, it is well worth the read. So if you want to learn more about this book, you can head over to my website, charlenecarr.com, where you can find a little written more thoughts on what I have on this, as well as links to the book. And if you're interested, you can also check out some of my books. The first two in my women's fiction series are free, and they're very different from this book, but one thing that I think they do have in common is women who feel like they're real and women who make mistakes, who aren't always perfect, but who strive to be the best that they can be. Now, obviously, the women in this book were going through a much more intense situation than any of my characters are, but pain is pain, and sometimes the experiences that we go through, although they can't compare, the emotion of everyday life can still be an opportunity to create extreme growth. So yeah, head on over, check it out, charlenecarr.com, and have a wonderful day.